scrapbookers and family historians. So this is Katie Scott, and I've done a couple of talks recently, one at Get It Scrapped through the membership, Masterful Scrapbook Design, and also 2 talks over at the Digi Scrap Geek podcast with Carrie Eric about scrapbooking your family history. And yeah, I have a lot to say, but I wanted to just show you. So, and I also have on here on my blog, Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking, I have a whole section devoted to family history scrapbooking and my concept called the Century Scrapbook. And then I've got some Flickr. I've got some Flickr albums that show a lot of it. I also have some of them on Pinterest. So I have a lot of my family history scrapbooking online in a lot of different places that you can see. But yeah, here on YouTube, one of my playlists is my family history scrapbooking, so that's a good place to get started if you're here and you want to see more. What this video today is going to be is, it kind of got inspired by a thread at Get It Scrapped, and let me just see. It was started by Mary Mosley, and she says she has Heritage Album Fever. And so she was asking about, you know, when you want to start scrapbooking your family history, do you put all of the photos into order first and then scrapbook, or do you just start scrapbooking? And so I have inherited so many old family photos. Like, this is the tip of the iceberg. And so a lot of times my old family photos come to me in the form of albums already. So a lot of my great-grandmothers were scrapbookers. So when they come to me like this, like somebody has taken some of these photos out, it was not me. I don't believe in dismantling old scrapbooks, but actually that's one of the things I might do today. And I'm going to show you the difference between what I will dismantle and what I won't. So this is my great-grandmother Maud's scrapbook. It's amazing. It's charming. But you see, like, somebody's cut out this photo, probably to put in a locket or something like that. It wasn't because they didn't like him. And she's written, so that's Camp Iroquois in Lake George, New York, 1923. And so it looks like they went camping there in these little cabins. Camp Jungaloo, Wolfboro, New Hampshire. And they rented another cabin, so I guess they call that camping. But see, this is the funniest thing. There's my grandpa with an actual bear. Anyways, so I would not dismantle this little scrapbook. I would keep it just as it is, and just scan the photos or take photographs of the photos and then scrap from those copies. The same with this. Like, it's a little thing. Speaking of the grandchildren, and this belonged to my Nana Ruby and my grandfather Frank, and she even writes, paternal grandparents. That's hilarious. So those are all just little pictures of me, which I would just keep exactly how she had it. If I wanted to scrap these photos, I would take scans of them and scrap the scans. But then in this little box, I also have some of the scans that I've made. So here's one that I took a picture of the picture. And this was probably not one that I have the original of. This is probably one that was at my mom's house, which actually I think might be in these albums that I'm going to show you. But I keep these photos with the heritage photos. I think they might be actually. Huh. So I think I have the things that I was going to show you, some of them, the ones in the magnetic albums, I was going to take them apart because I think they're actually damaging them. But I think I've already done the scans because my sister was kind of curious about the old photos of her. So these are more scanned pictures. And I really don't have a problem with having photos in a shoebox like this. I have a couple of these maybe, like, I have a couple of these downstairs on a shelf where I have some other family history things. And then I have one expedite shelf, yeah, that's like 1 by 5, full of boxes, full of photos. So that just gives you a little idea of the volume of, like, and then I have a whole bunch at my office too. So I have more old photos than I can probably ever deal with. And I had to come to terms with that. So for a long time I had all these old photos and I didn't do anything with them. Yeah, so ones like this, even though they're just in the box like this, which might make some of you cringe. I hope it doesn't, but I know all of these came from my grandparents' house, and I can remember seeing these photos in boxes, not this particular box, but like my grandma kept them in a shoebox that was in their living room, like in a cabinet in their living room, and I can remember going through it. So I don't mind having all of these, even though it seems like, oh, they're all mixed up. It's okay with me. But I think I have these scanned in. I don't have absolutely everything scanned in. But usually I will, when I go through the scanning, I'll go through like a certain amount of the stuff. And I've got some drawers in my, what I call my old scrapbooking room downstairs. And I even have some old photos that are still in the, there I am, look at how cute. So I almost don't want to, like, the negatives are in there. I don't know, I like the sensation of digging through a box and being able to touch everything, because that really does bring me back to when I was young and did that. But in this box, these are more scanned photos of photos. And then here's a bunch of Polaroids that I know I have scanned. But they were in a magnetic album. And I felt like the magnetic album, so these were once in a magnetic album, hold on, that looked like, oops, now they're on the floor. Hold on. But they were in a magnetic album, and I think you can even see, I don't know if you can see that, but on the backs of the photos you can see where the magnetic album was, and it just started to feel like, I just thought they weren't very safe in there. So I took them out and I scanned them, but then I've kept all of them together. These might be a good candidate for putting in like the Project Life type divided pockets. I don't know. I kind of don't mind them all together like that. I think it might seem like, oh, it's such a disorganized mess, but there's a method to my madness. No, there really, I mean, sometimes there is, and sometimes it's just that I have a ton of old photos, and there's my great uncle who I was talking about on that the Digi Scrap Geek podcast. Look, doesn't he look like James Dean? Yes, he totally does. He was like a rogue kind of a guy, but like the Mad Men, all that. But anyways, my aunt doesn't want me scrapbooking about him in public. That's why I have to do my, oh my gosh, that's my mom. So anyways, oh, how funny. The home of that uncle, I'm not going to say the name of him, but that house looks exactly like the house I lived with my dad in Bangor. And I think the homes were, you know, it's exactly the same house, I guarantee it. That's hilarious. You know, they would have, in the olden days, they would have a certain different types of houses they would build. And up north, probably in other places too. Anyways, all of these photos, most of these photos in this box are from one side of the family. And that really helps me to, if I don't have them all identified, then all of the the photos from that side of the family are in this box. Does that make sense? It makes sense. I think it does. And some of these boxes contain like not just photographs, but also dog tags and different little items. So I'm fine with having the photos in a box. Yeah, I'm a scrapbooker and I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm going to show you more, but hold on just a sec. Okay, I'm back. So not all of my boxes are the same, or even like prescribed photo boxes. But every year I get Eternity, not Eternity Moment, just Eternity for Christmas. That perfume, I love it. I don't love Eternity Moment so much, but I don't know how acid free this box is, but it's again, what are you gonna, you know, I have a lot of, because my dad died early. He was 56 when he died, which was about 10 years, 11 years ago actually, because my daughter is 11, so that's how I remember it. But so I inherited all of his things, and they were sent to me in these huge, like big, think very large 13 boxes full of stuff. And so I opened even a couple of the boxes when I got them, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much stuff. And we just put it away in a closet at my office. And then at that point in my life, I was 33 and I'm 44 now. Yeah, so it's been, 11 years. Imagine that. So we just put it away for a while because I had 2 little kids. My son has ADHD and he was a real handful, and then I just had, a lot of living with little kids, and I just didn't have time for this for a long time. And then maybe about 5 years ago, so my kids now are 11 and 13. So maybe when they were getting, in the older elementary, I don't know. But when, things seemed to quiet down a little bit, I started to go through some of this stuff. But honestly, I still have not, touched and felt every single book because I have just an enormous amount of stuff. And so this is a bookmarked little, here's another scrapbook, which I don't remember looking at, which is, I'm not even sure how many scrapbooks I have. And if I start to freak out about that, then I never get to the scrapbooking part. So what I did I would take some of the photos and just do something with some of the photos. And so then I would, this is a scanned in old photo, and I printed it out. I printed it at either Shutterfly or Walgreens. And so now I can scrap with this, and it's just in with other other recent photos that they're just I know that seems very random, but it really does work. And when I kind of start to get, and I have the photo storage binders that Stacy Julian uses. I also have the drawers, and all of that stuff is pretty well organized. This box here is just something like this is my most recent print order. So if I'm going to scrap something now that I want to scrap, a recent photo, then I can just go in here and, these are the most recently printed photos. And what I've come to, I think that printing once a month would be great, but I end up printing maybe once every couple of months now, and then I just, it's about 400 photos or something, like that, and I'll just get a whole big stack and work off that for a while, and then when I feel like those are stale, then those go to a different place, and then I just start with something else. But anyways, so, oh my gosh, okay. this is, I'm friends with her on Facebook. So this is Marcia. Oh my gosh. And this is Larry. Hi, Larry. So Larry, I don't think I've seen this before, but he is a cousin of, so he was cousins with my dad. Yes. Because his mother was the sister of my grandfather. So he was my dad's first cousin. But he has this site about Calais, Maine, and he's always posting photos. This is so funny. But so that's him and his sister, and I'm friends with both of them on Facebook, and some of the photos that I've been scrapbooking are actually, he has photos from the family that I don't have, and I'm sure some of these are photos that he doesn't have. So, oh, this is interesting. See, maybe this is a good reason why you shouldn't, why you should look at everything first and then start scrapbooking. But I do think with the amount of stuff that I have, it's insane. It's all in nice, like, neat places, but yeah, I've never seen this. Seriously, I don't think I've looked at this before. And I have a lot of books that are just like this. So, like, this is the kind of scrapbooking they were doing in the 20s. So this is a different section. This is a different family line. So this is in a whole different box that I've kept all together. I've seen some of these. I've seen pictures like that before of him and that little dog. Oh, but what's nice about this is it's all labeled. And you want to know something even crazier? I'm not even the person with the most scrapbooks from this side of the family. My aunt has, I think my great aunt Mabel was a major scrapbooker back in the 20s. And, but she wasn't from this side of the family. So that was actually, yeah, anyways, there's a lot of scrapbooks. And it seems that all of my family, except my Grandma Grace, her family was Irish. But they didn't do a lot of record keeping. But everybody else was Scottish and English. And I guess it's just in our DNA to want to record everything. Photograph it, document it, record it, blah, blah, blah. But this is interesting. Everything is very, everybody's totally identified. I love it. That's really good. Oh, wow. And so the other thing I have a lot of is old letters. And so this one is Camp Hospital number 45 from January 27th, 1919. So I don't think I've seen this before. This is my first great grandfather, Charles W. Fenderson, from him to the chief surgeon. So he was a sergeant in the medical department. Discharged from service. Request to be relieved from further duty with Camp Hospital. Number 45 AEF APO number 736. And from further duty with the American Expeditionary Forces for the return to the United States and discharged from the Army of the United States. Just before coming to France to join the American Expeditionary Forces, I was married to the sweetest girl in the States, and now she is very anxious to have me come back to her and take care of my family duties, which have been sadly neglected by me since leaving her. This request is made for the benefit of the United States, as I am sure I will be able to repopulate the country. As I'm sure I will be able to help repopulate the country. Yes, thank you, Charles. I'm glad you came back. And because I wouldn't be here but for that. An early discharge is requested. So that's awesome. So this is a book that my dad dog-eared, but I haven't even looked at yet. So depending on how much you have, just do what you can. And if you're like me and have like a bazillion things, just don't. I think this, because this is it's I not only have the stuff from my dad, I also have the stuff from the other side of the family. I just have an overwhelming amount of information, and I feel like I've put them all in, like I've got certain bookcases at my office and a couple of filing cabinets where all of it is. So it's all of it is in like this one place and this one place. But have I gone through every single thing? No. Will I go through every single thing in my lifetime? Probably not. I mean, I get maybe I'll have a really boring rest of my life and be able to go through it all, but I honestly don't think that I'm ever going to get to all of it. I just don't. I mean, there's so much. Oh, look at this. Okay, so this is to my grandfather, Frank Fenderson. And this is why I'd like to keep everything in its place, where as I've received it, even though I've put it into, so when I was sent all the boxes full of stuff, not everything was in order. So I would just, find boxes as I did. I mean, maybe I could have gone to the container store, but really I just found what I could and just kept going. So there's some of my dad's notes in there. There's, these are microfiche and microfilm order cards. So like when my dad would write away, this is like how they used to do family history. Like even this was in 2000, the year 2000. So he died in 2003. But he was doing this even, like that's a lot of little different things. And he was trying to find, like here he's ordering the 1880 census for Sumter County, Alabama. He wanted to put all the Fendersons in the whole world into a book. And so I don't think we have people in Alabama, but there are, my family wasn't from there. Yeah, all these are southern places. But some of the, so we were from the north, and, your Revolutionary War history, or, not Revolutionary War, but yeah, about that time, the Triangle Trade, that was, anyways, there's African American in the South, most, way back when in this country. So this is in the 1880s and 1900 with the Fenderson name. And they were, so he was even researching those, like, quite meticulously. But, wow. Interesting. So you can see my dad and my grandfather did family history research for many, 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 many years, and they kept all of their records and research and notes, and so I just try to keep them as they were sent to me. So what's interesting is, like, a lot of times it's like the old computer paper, And what's really cool about the African American Fendersons is that on Facebook in my Fenderson family group, a lot of them are in there, and I've posted, like, my dad got a bunch of stuff about them, and so I've been able to share some of that with them, and they're always like, oh, how did you find that? And I'm like, I didn't find it, my dad did. But I get on. So as you can see, it can really, you can start to go through this and then go on like a way rabbit hole. So here are some rocks. So they were just in this little napkin that was in this envelope, right? And this was the Culloden Moor rallying point of Clan Farquharson prior to the Battle of 1745. Photo taken in May 1987. So that's that. And then this was a letter to my grandfather, Frank, from 1987. I'm sure that you're familiar with the history of Clan Farquharson and know of their terrible losses at the Battle of Culloden Moor in 1745. Walking over the battlefield one afternoon this May, I found these site markers where the clan regiments formed for a battle. Your clan is prominently marked, so I took a photograph and picked up a stone near the foot. It is a very windy location, as are most moors, and if you close your eyes and use your imagination, you can hear the ripping sound of grape shot used by General Cumberland's army, and the screams of charging Highlanders, most of whom died nearby. A very memorable experience for me. And I'm not exactly sure, Joe Bothwide or something like that. I'm not sure what his name was, but I've got, like, this is one of like thousands and thousands of, you know how if you've watched my videos and you know me at all in the scrapbooking world, you know that I'm kind of a prolific scrapbooker. Well, my dad and my grandfather were prolific genealogists, and so I've got all of their stuff, and I don't even know. So I'm not probably the expert on organizing things, but I just guess I'm here to tell you, like, if you have your stuff in boxes and you haven't even looked at everything yet, it's totally fine. You can still scrapbook. So this is a video on that cult that my family was in Maine. There was this cult called Shiloh that was in Maine that I should watch this I think we still have a VCR player. But this is called Till Shiloh Come. Anyways, my family was in this like cult in Maine. This very elaborate like religious sect. I guess you could call it a religious sect, or you could just call it a cult, like, because that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, they were. So it was not Charles, but his father. You remember the one that got discharged because he wanted to repopulate the United States? So his father and his grandfather were in the cult. Yeah, he wasn't in it though. He was smarter than that. Okay, on to more current affairs. I hope this is helping you at all. I know, I don't know. I go on way tangents, but I guess I just want to say, if you want to go ahead and organize all of your old photos, go for it. Like, get them in order, you know, put them in whatever you want. But if you want to just start scrapbooking them, like, just scan some of them in and do it, do that. Yes, you can do that. It's okay. Hold on. And I think that really it depends on your personality. Like, if you really like to have everything in, you know, specific order before you can really do anything, then maybe that's what you need to do. I'm kind of like, I know everything's pretty much over here in this closet or over on this bookcase, and if I have to think about dealing with all of it, then I'll never even start. Like, I'll just be like, well, that's a huge boring job that I don't really want to do. But if I can just take, like, this, you know, a little pack of, hold on, I'm going to show you more photos. But in that little box, I don't have nearly as many, in this current box that I showed you. But I have this drawer in my tanker desk, and some of the photos are the heritage photos that I have, that are just, these are even photos of photos. So I took these, my mother possesses the original of this. So I just took the photo of a photo, and now I can like scrap with all of these photos. So lately when I've been doing my family history scrapbooking, I'll just kind of rifle through these a little bit. And usually it won't, you know, something will come to me and I'll be like, well, I want to scrap this because, and I'll just go ahead and do it. Now, if you're digital, I guess it's going to be a lot easier if you get everything scanned in. Yeah, I guess that's true. But I just like having all of these just available to me, and that I don't have to feel precious about. Like, if I accidentally rip this up and threw it away, it's fine because I still have the original somewhere. But I just have a little bit. Like, I can deal with like this many photos, but I actually possess like, you know, I don't even know, like a bazillion times this many photos. boggles the mind. It really does. I mean, I really feel fortunate to have all those old photos and all the old everything. But it's also, yeah, if I had more of a librarian tendency, it might be a good thing. But I'm organized enough, and you know, I think it's important in life when you know your weaknesses, because then you can work on them. So organizing is actually a weakness of mine. So I've spent time, you know, getting better at it. Although I'm never going to be perfect at it, and it's never going to be my favorite thing to do. So, yeah, this is in defense of just get everything in one place, pick some, and then just start with those. So this is one that I did recently. This is my little sister, and she loved this because she was a word nerd back then. She still is, and I finally downloaded that Word with Friends, and so we started playing that today. So that's kind of cool. Then this is my Grandma Grace, and these are 2 old photos that that I've scanned in. And so when I do that, like, it's totally fine. Like, a Brad didn't go through there, but you know, I can put a sticker on it and do all the scrapbooking things, and even like layer them on top of each other and have stickers going over the photos, which I would do with modern photos, but I would never do with like original photos. So yeah, there's this is another one. These are scanned in photos, and these were from a little scrapbook that my mom had, that she had all of her little notations. So I actually on this one put the back of like I took a picture of the back of the picture. So there's that. Yeah, and I end up like this photo I printed up a bunch of times. I don't know why. That's how I remember her looking. And so I have a lot of pictures of my grandma, but like even though she's not smiling, she looks kind of a little serious, which she was a little serious, but in a really like hilariously funny kind of a way. She's like nobody else I know. She talked nonstop and she was hilarious, but she was the kind of hilarious that she wasn't trying to be hilarious, and she wasn't stupid either. I mean, she was a smart lady. She was just, I guess, very honest, and that she would say things in an unfiltered kind of way that was just, it was like shockingly funny even when I was a kid. You know? But this page is mitochondrial DNA, and so that's my grandma, my mom, me back in the 80s, like the hair, and then a current picture of my daughter. So these 3 are all scanned in pictures, and then this one was a digital photo, and then I just printed it out. And then another of my grandma. Yeah, I kind of like, cause I think she's wearing the same, I don't know if she's wearing the same pin, but she always, you know, wear a little pin. So that's, you know, yeah, with her, even though I haven't scrapped all of the pictures of her, the ones that I tend to gravitate towards are the ones that where she looks like I know, like I remember her. Like here's another one that I'm getting ready to scrap, but that's when she was pregnant with my mom, and so I don't, you know, it is her, and I remember her. I can see it in her face, but if I'm gonna think about what she looks like, it's definitely the older her. So I usually go to the older ones when she looks older. That would probably mortify her. She would probably want me to do the ones where she looks younger. Okay, one more box full of stuff, just to give you another example of how I'm keeping things. And some of you, I'm sure, are like, wow, that's really organized. And others of you are probably like, oh my God, that's not organized at all. So we all have our own degrees of how organized is organized. So should you keep old documents in plastic boxes? No, apparently not. Do I have things that are in plastic boxes? Yes. So I think that's the other thing, is try not to, yes, you want to do your best with this stuff, but are you going to be perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. like, not at all. Okay, here's my dad's. This is my father's report card from 8th grade. Oh, look at him. Yeah, this is about how my grades looked. Like A's and B's. I probably had more, my A's and B's are probably more evenly distributed. He's got mostly A's, I think. But yeah. And then all of the signatures of my grandparents on the back. But this, so this box is full of, this side of my family really liked to go to the portrait studio. Well, we all did. Oh my goodness. Okay. See, I really haven't, like, totally looked at all of this. But, so this photographer also did my grandfather from a different side. I think. Because they both lived in, I mean, they were both, like, from Boston, you know. If they didn't live in Boston, like, Boston was, you know, involved in a lot of. So this part of this family was from Boston, but my other side of the family lived near Boston. Oh, interesting. So interesting. They actually, I think this McElroy's lived in Brookline, which is near Boston. Huh. There's my Nana. And that, so these are really like, I don't know, chipboard? But I'm not taking these out. So I've scanned this and I've actually scrapped this photo before. But I really want to keep the context of the photo in the sleeve because it's going to show me things like which, you know, the Harvey Studios from Calais, Maine. And so what gets sort of interesting in the family history kind of way is when you look at this the first time, you might just notice like, oh, there's what she looked like, you know, or who is that? And, you know, you figure out who it is. But the next time you look at it, you might be like, oh, we have some other photos that are in the same kind of container. Oh, and they're the same photographer. Maybe you start to research that and like find even more stuff. So I really think that there's a benefit to keeping it. Like, I'm not going to take this photo out of this, even though it takes up way more space, I'm not going to take it out of this chipboard thing. I'm going to keep it in this chipboard thing with all the other stuff that came from this side of the family because connections will be made. I promise you. Huh. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's their mantle. They even wrote on the back, Den Fireplace, 1969. That was before I was born. But I recognize a lot of things in that picture. And there's my grandfather. He was the potentate of the Anna Shrine. Yeah. So all of this is from one side of the family, and it's just really some of the things. If they came in an envelope like this, so this lady sent my dad this in 1995. So I'm gonna keep everything that came in this envelope in this envelope. I'm gonna keep it all in there because that's gonna give me the context to as far as who those people are. And fortunately, she wrote it all on the back. Thank you. That was awesome. But then I'm going to get with that. So I'm also going to get with that, like a little letter from here, you know, here they are. And it doesn't seem like, oh, that's a very interesting little letter. It just says, here they are. Like, they probably talked or something. But I've got, like, her letterhead where she was working. And then, yeah, there's a whole bunch of information on there that that I might not need or care about right now, but as your research goes, sometimes you'll make connections with these like seemingly unimportant things. So, is this the easiest way to look at all of this? No, but I think it really am I messing with the order of it when I'm going through it? Yeah, a little bit, but not a ton. Okay, so my dad went to boarding school. Oh, and probably sleepaway. Yeah, he went to boarding school like in this, and I have so many of his letters. So this was from Mount Herman School in Massachusetts. Hold on, I'm gonna pause. And like this is one of about, I mean, I have one box at the office where it's just like a whole shoebox full of like very tightly packed letters, and like each one of them is very like super thin, so he just wrote all the time, like I think probably every day. Dear Mom, Dad, and Carolyn, we had our first and only mixer last Saturday. It was arranged so that groups of assigned boys would show groups of girls the campus. A group of 6 mantles would show 6 Marines, I don't know what that is, the campus. I was a Romeo. My dad was super nerdy, so I assure you he was not a Romeo. It says, I was a Romeo. There was dancing and refreshments after that. The dancing was the best part of the whole mixer. That surprises me. Have I told you about my new work yet? It starts right after lunch, or about 12:15. My dad, I'm pretty sure, had he was kind of an Asperger-y kind of a personality, you know? He was never diagnosed with anything, but we've post-mortem diagnosed him. Anyways, and work until everything is finished. I start right after lunch. He doesn't say what the work is. Or about 12:15. He loves details. He's like super different than me. And work until about everything is finished. Usually until 5 of 3 or sometime until 3:30. So 2:55 or up until 3:30. Saturday we finished at 2, even though it was very humid. I work 6 days a week. Thursday is my day off. Sometimes I work a 15-hour week, even though it's only supposed to be a 10-hour week. I'm on the dish cart. I load the cart with stacks of clean dishes and put 10 or 11, it varies, on each table after it's cleaned. Yeah, my dad and I, we just did not speak the same language at all. He was like Mr. Detail. He would just tell you all the details about everything. Sometimes the dishes are hot and burn my fingers. After all of the dishes are distributed, I put out napkins, then set the tables. So there you go. That's what he did. See, I would have led with, I'm on dish cart now, and I wouldn't have probably told you about exactly when I was working. Anyways, I would have told you about probably the people I was working with, maybe. Okay, everything is so new here. Time seems to stand on end. At home, time flies by. It seems as though I've been here a whole year already. So he's writing on September 25th. I think he missed home a lot, and I don't think home was a great place. And so I think it was probably a good thing that he went to boarding school. But yeah, he seems to have been homesick anyways. I have $5 that Dave, Davis's brother, gave back, so I'll be all right for a while. I received the bedspread with the candy bars. Not a day too early. He loved to eat. He was skinny as a rail. I wish I had that. But he ate like a vacuum cleaner. It was amazing. If I hadn't gotten it that day, I would have had to buy one. My studies are coming along okay, except for French, and I could do better in Bible. I have a good chance of getting an A in science and fair chances of B's in math and English. I'm surprised at how much grammar I hadn't even heard of in English and how much I've forgotten. Love, Bob. P.S. Please write. So he's writing. There's so many letters though where it's it might be, he will say can he come home for Thanksgiving that year? And I think I don't know. I guess they would meet in Boston to go to Thanksgiving. Okay, so this is confidential. It says confidential right at the top. Ta-da! Confidential. Okay, so this... I know I've gotten way off track, but this is sort of what happens when I do go through these things. Is like, I'll just go down this rabbit hole of like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. Like, there's no way that I can just be like, okay, that's 1918. Okay, that's, and you know, put everything in chronological order. There's just no way. Let blah 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 blah. I'm just looking to see if this matches up with. So this is Sergeant Charles W. Fenderson, and this is about his service, and I'm just so in compliance with telegraphic instructions from Chief Surgeon's Office Headquarters, the following enlisted men are transferred and will proceed to France by first available. So I guess, yeah, this must have been before. Yeah. And then, oh, some pictures of my dad cross-country skiing, which are now, like, I might actually pull this. And, yeah. He wrote Caribou Bog cross-country that's Mac's birthday. 2/8/86. Placed 259 out of 370. 3 hours, 18 kilometers. And so there he is. I just made another page about cross-country skiing and how I felt close to him. So that's like a perfect one. I will pull this, and actually maybe I might scrap the original. Ugh. I know, right? Yeah, so what's interesting, I think, is sometimes when you go through these, like, different things are going to be interesting to you at different times. So that's why I like to have them kind of in their raw form. Here's the little stamps that you would get during the war. This is the first war. So this was the one that he wanted to get back to start repopulating America. Yeah, I just... there's so much, and I mean, see, here's all my... Remember, I don't know if you've watched, but I have a bunch of things that I found on eBay from Minnesota, because some of my people went out to Minnesota. Haha. So this one, okay, great. These are actually identified, which is pretty awesome. Left to right, Eunice, Eliza, Asha Fenderson, the 3 oldest children of Willard Scott Fenderson, all born at East Bethel, Minnesota. And those people, so the descendants of these people, I'm also friends with on Facebook. And they've been able to identify a whole bunch of different people for me. Oh, that was my daddy. When he was a little boy, I think. Yeah, I think that's him and not his brother. Because my dad was cuter. He's a little bit cuter than his brother. Yeah, and here's Willard Scott. Yeah, the people I know. Okay, so these people, these are the people from Minnesota who I know now on Facebook, but didn't know before that. So Willard Scott Fenderson, son of Howard Lincoln Fenderson, at his home at 3112 17th Avenue South, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Huh. So, yeah, this is how I have it. Oh, this is my grandfather's registry. I think it's his birth certificate. Like, yeah. But I'm kind of okay with having it all mixed in and all mixed up. Some people might not. Oh, how funny. Okay, some people might not like. I think some of you are going to think, wow, that's disorganized because it's all kind of jumbled up. But I guess what I'm okay with is that I keep the families, like my mother's side and my father's side, kind of separate. And if something came from my Nana's side versus my Grampy's side, I keep those separate. And then I kind of can put the context in. But you want to know something really funny? So I've been doing this Calvin ball for Get It Scrapped, and the best person in Calvin ball is Celeste Smith. Ha! I I don't know if you can read it, but that says Mrs. Celeste Smith. I swear to God. October 13th, 1902. And this is from R.N. Perry, superintendent of the SS Rome Department. Oh, I cannot read this. It looks like it says University, maybe? Department, I don't know what that says. I want to say it says university, but I might say something else. Department of the University, M-E-L. I don't know what that is. Syracuse, New York. Okay, Celeste Smith. I know I'm going to guess Smith is your married name, but there's, and I don't know which one is which, but it's Mrs. Celeste Smith. There you go. So I'm not exactly sure how she fits into my family picture, but that's what I have. All right, and see, some of this gets into the more recent stuff. So this is just kind of how I received it from my dad, or his estate, after he died. So, yep, it's a big hodgepodge of stuff, and yeah, there's photos, there's negatives, and until I scan them, I just kind of keep them in the little slots. That's a long explanation, isn't it? Okay, but some of them are actually like identified. So this was Corporal John Fenderson's barn in East Parsonsfield, and so I know that John Fenderson was in the Revolutionary War, and I actually have his rum jug from the Revolutionary War. Yeah. That's a cool find. Or my grandfather actually gave that to me. When I was in college, he gave it to me. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, there's just a whole bunch of this. And at some point, I'll get to all of it. Maybe or maybe not. Yeah, these were some of the folks those are some more of the Minneapolis people. But meantime, I'm okay with having them in these boxes. And I actually, when I get together with family, I like to kind of like go through the boxes, you know, in real life. Because a lot of times, especially with the older people, they're going to know details that I don't know. So, yeah, it's just in a box like this. And then, isn't that fancy? It just says on masking tape, family keepsakes. And so I have this with a bunch of other boxes of the Fenderson side of my family. Yeah. But I mean, this is just like a tiny piece. Tip of the iceberg, people. It's insane. I'll be right back. Okay, so just another way that I keep some old family stuff. So some things that I have are large and they're on display in my house, but some things you have that are just like tiny. So I got a bunch of these, this is Wade England on the bottom, but a bunch of these little like porcelain little animals that apparently used to come in tea. And so, remember the great-grandfather Charles married to Annie? So it wanted to repopulate. So she was my big Nana. That's what I called her. And we actually lived with her for a short time after we got back from Georgia, where I was born. And she was big Nana. Because she was actually kind of fat. And and my other Nana was really skinny. So probably in retrospect, that was probably like not the nicest. But everybody called her Big Nana. I don't know. We just did. And I was like, you know, under 5 years old, so I didn't have that kind of a filter. But she left me all of these little, like, I have a whole bunch of different ones. Little porcelain things that I guess would come in tea. And I guess like one thing you could do in the scrapbooking kind of a world would be take a picture of this and then explain like what is this? And then I've just got like, this was a magnet that I bought, like, you know how they have the Santa things for kids at school, like a Christmas gift shop, and then you could go with your own money and buy something for like, you know, $1, which, you know, it wasn't like crap like these days, but like, you know, for a small amount of money back in the 70s, you could buy your family like presents. And so I bought my grandmother these magnets, and she had them on her fridge ever since I was a kid. Like, I gave them to her, and then they were there forever after. Then I've got some of her earrings, like the fancy sparkly, and she never had pierced ears, so can you see that? She had, they were like, what did they call these, clip-ons? So whenever she was wearing earrings, like, she was a little bit irritated. She was seriously, like, so funny. I love those ones. Because they're like, I don't know if they're real or not. It doesn't really matter to me. They probably are. I'm going to guess those are amethyst. Then, oh, yeah. That was my dad gave me that ring and the stone fell out of it while I was at a store, and then I had to like go down and find it, so I put everything in that bag, and it needs to be reset in that ring. But I don't really wear rings anymore. I even wear a wedding ring. I'm married, but I just don't wear rings. Here are my puppy's teeth. Yep, I save a lot of oddball things. And what's this? This is some kind of a little, I'm trying to see what it says. I don't know what it says. Something in Latin. I think this was my grandma's. She went to college in Boston. I don't know what that is though. My grandpa's cufflinks. His little badge from one time when they went to Paris. Hippopotamus. Or yeah, that's a hippopotamus, isn't it? So just like, I think like a little container like this for just oddball things that you want to keep is a nice thing to do. It's just another place you can kind of contain things. All of your, like I used to wear this little, I think it has my initials. Yep, it does. A little megaphone when I was a cheerleader in high school. So that's just another way I keep like the family stuff. And I guess what would be an easier way to scrapbook this would just be like take a picture of the whole thing, and then you could do like little arrows like this is that, blah blah blah. I'll be right back. Okay, so I swear this is gonna be like 2 hours. It's a Pandora's box, seriously. So I have this shelf like that's just all, I'm trying to put the things back, but then I go, what's in that box? Let's see what's in this box. And like, honestly, I don't always know. Yep, but I know this is all from my dad's side. So that was somebody's little book. It looks like this is my aunt. Those are the cousins. So this was probably like the little book that my dad kept with him of his, you know, his friends and his family. I'm going to guess that was his. Nashua, New Hampshire. And that is, I don't know, Mathens? I don't recognize that name, but that's the photo. And then I have an old card. To Nana, Happy Mother's Day. Oh, this is to Big Nana. Cake is nice and pie is too, but not half as nice as you. So here's a hug and here's a kiss and here's a line to tell you this. Love you on Mother's Day and every day, Nana. I love that they had an Nana card. And then Carolyn, David, and Bobby. So that was like to my big Nana when they were little. I don't think it has the year on there. Let's see. I don't think so. Awesome. See, neon was... I'm going to guess that's like the 50s. It's funny. N.A. Preston. Okay, so this is P.M. Parrington, maybe? There he is. That's also from, oh, that's from Calais, Maine. And then here, this is also from Calais, Maine, a little, this would be like, I'm going to guess my dad's little scrapbook from when he was a kid. Because it has a couple of pictures of my aunt when she was a kid. Oh, I see. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. Okay, so here's little pictures of my aunt, and then how do we do this here? Okay, here we go. Oh well, look at that. It's like mini book from the 50s, and so I don't know whose book this was, but yeah, that's Marcia, who's on my Facebook page with me now. And then my dad and his brother. Those are my aunt. So I kind of like to keep everything, as I've said. I know, I get a little repetitive. But I like to keep it all how it came because it gives it context. Snapshots, Boston, Massachusetts. The picture of a Native American. Who I'm listening to this podcast recently, and like the history professor keeps calling them Indians, which I'm like, aren't you not supposed to call them Indians? But so this is from Cambridge, Massachusetts, and that is to. But that definitely looks like my grandpa Frank. Not sure who she is. I don't think I've seen this book before. But this just goes to show you, it gives you a small inkling of how much stuff I have. A crazy amount. But in a good way. I'm not complaining at all. I'm happy to have it. Oh, haha, look at this. So I live in Florida now, but I'm from Maine. So this is a Warm Mineral Springs, Venice, Florida. Ethel McElroy, okay. Ethel C. Leatherwood, I don't know. Imogene Berry, Amy Wadsworth. March 26, 1959. And there's all the ladies on their Florida vacation. That's so funny. I love that. Like, I moved here to Florida and then didn't realize that it was a place where a lot of, like, pretty much all of my family had been to. I guess I should have known that, but yeah, it's just like lots and lots. I think I scrapbooked some of these little pictures. I think one of my pages that I talked about in the Masterful Scrapbook Design, it actually had the family in it too, but I think they just they just like to take a lot of pictures of that. So that was Repopulation the World, Charles Fenderson, his first car. So that was a Model T, and that was the first car. And so, yeah, they took a picture of it. You have seen some of these pictures before, but I don't think I've looked through that little book. This was no, that wasn't them. That's on the back. But I've connected up with these people. Alright, I'm getting bored. I'm sure you are too. State Street, Bangor, Maine. Ah, that's so cool. These are they were printed in Boston. I don't know when they were made. A long time ago though. But cool old postcards. Bermuda grass, St. Augustine grass. So that's so weird. Okay. Huh. It's different handwriting. Dear Nana, I miss you very much. I am waiting for a letter from you. Has it rained much? It is very warm down. Is it very warm down there? So she must be in Florida. Mommy is gone out now. She went to Blackwell's. I was sick and had to stay home Wednesday and Thursday. We had our Valentine's party today. Thanks for the birthday gift. Love, Carolyn. So I was actually gonna start to show you something. Oh, that's that Larry from Facebook. Oh, I bet he would love to see this. So I think his big Nana and my big Nana are one and the same. It was his grandmother and my great grandmother. But he's drawn a picture of a church. And this lady I know on Facebook too. That's Larry's sister, Marcia. Dear Nana, I think of you every day and night. I was so happy when Mom told me that you were taking Aunt Margaret back to Brookline. Tell Sue I will be glad to see her and Carl. I went to the dentist yesterday and had one filled. We'll be glad to see you all. Something Larry drew. Oh, so she sent a little picture from her little brother. That's why I keep things together. P.S. I love you. So those weren't in an envelope, but they were just kind of together. So I really tried to, and then this must be the letter. This must have gone in here. I'm going to just put that in there. So that's, yeah, that's my Mrs. Charles Fenderson that's where they lived. So yes. Yeah. But I guess if you're my personality type, you could get caught up in just looking at all this old stuff and you could never scrapbook ever. Aw, happy Valentine's Day. This card is yours. The wish is mine. Hope you'll be happy, Valentine. Bobby F. So I bet you this is to the parents. No, this is to Big Nana. But he always a lot of times would put Bobby F. Dear Nana, hope you are having a good time. Dad said that if Davy and I are good, he might get us a Porter chemical set. We could put it down in the basement and sort of make a bench or laboratory. A few days after you left, Carolyn and I made a skating rink out of the old school foundation, but we didn't flood it. The rains did, and at night it froze. I bet you're roasting, are you? He must be writing to her in Florida. Right now, February 8th, gosh, that's like the second time I've seen that date, 1959, 15 to 5 o'clock, here's my detailed dad, it's 4 degrees above zero, your loving grandson, Bobby F. P.S. We'll write soon, hope you do the same. Okay, let's read one more. This is from Meadowmack Camp for Boys in Washington, Maine. 1957. Meadowmack Camp for Boys. Dear Nana, Aunt Ethel and Uncle Willard, today is Regatta Day. This afternoon at 2:30, we go down to the SE swim match. There will be games of all size and shape, from penny throw to squirting the cloudbursts. I don't know what that word is. We have a little card that has a number 14 on it. Each one is a ticket to a game plus a drink and an ice cream. I have 400 points and soon hope to have my medal. David. Oh, that's from my uncle. Not my dad. And then this is from Filene's Basement, I guess, from 1951. The Echo, published by Filene's, which is like a department store. And that's, I don't know if anybody worked at Filene's. I've been to Filene's in Boston. Oh, look at this. Virginia Alborn, young Bostonian shop on deck to bid Miss McElroy bon voyage. So Margaret McElroy. So that McElroy is a family name of mine. Hold on, I'm gonna pause. So I should call this organizing old scrapbooking, organizing old photos and memorabilia, or Katie goes down a way tangent down memory lane. Margaret McElroy, millinery's gracious ladies en route for a 2-month tour of the British Isles. She sailed last Friday aboard the RMS Newfoundland, and her route across the Atlantic provides for a cruise through Canadian waters before heading for Southampton. Miss McElroy had been battling tonsillitis for a week prior to sailing, but she has made a complete recovery before going up the gangplank. A driver's license is awaiting her in England, and in a relative's car, she will tour Ireland and Scotland as well. Wow, that's so cool. She will visit relatives and renew acquaintances made on another trip 15 years ago. Happy landings and safe return. Huh. Interesting. Oh, and just in time for Easter. Love to, Nana. Oh, isn't that sweet? What could be nicer than having a Nana as nice as you? And apparently this Nana, the big Nana, was like the sweetest thing ever. I remember her like vaguely because she died when I was 5. And I do remember her, but it's very vague. Look, it's sparkly. There's glitter. And it's like, it's big, big chunky glitter. Aw, that's sweet. I almost want to scrapbook that, but I think I'm just going to leave it in this little box. And then I'm going to show you what I was originally going to show you. Oh my goodness. So all these books, they're all full of me and my sister, and I might dismantle them because I can remember that she and I put them together like somewhere around 1990, because I think I was visiting while I was in college, and it was at my mother's second husband's house, which I never lived there, but she did. Or no, it was her third husband. I don't know. It was one of our husbands. And we found I think it was her third husband, but we found all of our pictures from when we were kids in this like plastic laundry hamper in their barn. And we were like, oh no. So one night we stayed up all night and we just put them like they're in random order. Like I totally remember doing this, but we were like, they were brand new. So these albums in 1990 were like in their packages, brand new. And then so in that hamper, like all the photos, and then like a bunch of brand new albums, like on top. And we were like, why doesn't she put them in the albums? So we just stayed up one night and we just put, probably I did most of it, but my sister's the queen of staying up all night. But so we just kind of put them all into the albums, and I really feel like now these are really deteriorating, and since I remember who put them in and where, what I think I might do is actually like go through them, and I want to say scan them all, but realistically it's a lot. But maybe just cherry pick some of them, and then maybe just scrap with the original. This is what I'm thinking. Like if I wanted to scrap a photo, so say I'm like I think I've scanned some of these, because some of them I know. Like I know I have this one on the computer. I don't think I've scanned all of them though. But say I want to like scrap this. So this one isn't related to any of these other pictures. Like this is a birthday party from when I was 5, and then here's a pageant photo of different birthday when I was like 9, another pageant photo, and then summer camp. So like they're all me, but they're not all related. So this I totally think that's John McDonald. Anyways, I'm even thinking like I'll pull this out, scrap the original, but like put it in. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Like, okay, yeah. See, I'm magic. So this is like a page protector, like a scrapbooking page protector that's acid free and blah blah blah, that I cut off because I made a weird shape of a layout. But I think I might do something like this on my layout and just kind of sew, so this would just slide in to the plastic sleeve, so then I can still scan it, and then maybe, and then, you know, if I put any stickers go over it, it's going to go on the plastic, not on the original. But I would not be opposed to scrapping some of these originals, because yeah, I'm on the fence of whether to take this album apart or not, and I'm thinking probably yes. And I remember the way that we did it, which was like kind of stupid in retrospect, because we were like, we had all these pictures. So this one was like, I was like, okay, well, we'll just make it even, you know, so you, me. So it's 2 of my sister and 2 of me, and then these 2 pages are mostly me, and then these 2 pages are mostly her. And then I just kept going through like that, because they were seriously just all the photos in a hamper. Like a laundry hamper. And there's her and me and her and me. I totally remember doing this. And her and me. And so it was just like, let's just get them in an album so they're at least not gonna be totally destroyed. But if they would have been in a nice, sensible box, like even a box like this, I might have just left them in there. But yeah, they were in a hamper, and I just kind of went, what is going on with that? They must, like, she's got the albums right here. Why don't we just put them in there? So that's how they became, yeah, see, and her and me, like on the, yeah, yep, let's just see. So she mentioned that she would love to have some of these old photos, or at least see them. And yeah, these are portrait. This was like a book full of the portraits. And I think there's more of me than her. But I actually think it was such a mistake to put them in here. It would have been better to just leave them in. Yes, it would have. It would have been totally better to leave them in the original, in a box, not in a hamper. But if they would have been just left in a hamper, oh gosh. You can use dental floss apparently. But these books are really quite destructive. And so now this photo, there was writing on the back even, it's got all this crap on the back of it. Yeah, I think these definitely need to and they've got like, there's like all that brown on the edge. That's from this album. I don't think they would have been all browned up like that if, yeah, I've got to save these photos out of this album. This is a no-brainer. So, it's going to be a process though, because I've got to like, this is, I got to like peel them all off, but that's definitely a doable project, I think, is to save them from these albums. But I sort of wanted to just show, so the original purpose of this video was to show my sister what was in these albums, and then I went on a wee tangent. She'll never watch this whole thing. I'll just have to show her. Just look to the end. That really looks like her. Yeah, that's totally her. But we all wore this same little outfit. Oh, you can't see that, but most of them are me, and a couple of them are her, I think. Yep. So these albums, I think, need to be unassembled. Yes. Because even this is like, ugh. See that? Did you see that? I tried to open this up, and like half of it came off. Lovely, huh? But they're getting brown, and they're getting all of that glue. Not so nice. So these definitely need to come out. Yes. Yes, they do. For sure. Where's my dog Muffin? Yeah, so I just wanted to show her what were in these albums. Look. There's me. We're petting the dog, and I'm completely naked. And then here's Monkey Beach, which is, I brought my daughter there recently. And yeah, looking at these photos, I got kind of excited to scrapbook them. And I don't really have like a super inclination to do a whole scanning thing. So I kind of think I'm going to do that little photo sleeve thing with the scrapbooking as I like maybe slowly take these apart and then get them all scanned in kind of after the fact. That's a long-winded explanation of what I'm going to do. But that's, I don't know. I think that having the old family photos can be, that's my sister, can be really, they're just awesome to have, but also overwhelming to have. And like, what do you do and where do you put them? And what you think was a great idea, like in 1990, like isn't such a good idea now. You know, yeah, because now, so you just do the best you can. Yep, that's what you do. Yeah, these are, so Jenny, I am going to be taking these apart. Look at, even the ones that we didn't even use, like the pages that we didn't use, are totally getting all browned. And the other thing I wanted to show you, that I was kind of like, so when I was in college, I did a bunch of traveling all over Europe. And I actually have the photos, and like these were film photos, so they're the only ones I have. They're right here though. Hold on, they're just in this little drawer next to me. So this is Greece, and I had them in a magnetic album, but I had made it all scrapbooky, and I took it all apart, and then I've regretted it. But you know, looking at this one, maybe I don't regret it so much. It's my passport. It's old. Yeah, I should scrap with these too. Oh, we just watched the thing on Crete. My son and I did, and I know some of these photos are from Crete. Yeah, way cool. So I did take these out of a magnetic album, which I always say like, oh, I'm so sad that I took them out, but actually they're doing fine in this little drawer. Yep, they are. I guess I'm just really trying to justify taking them out of these crappy albums. I don't know why, but so yeah, I think I'm going to. Let me just show you the rest of them. Can I also show you this to my sister? So this is my grandmother's little L bean bag that was like had her initials. Mom totally had this in the garage sale. I was like, what? Give me that. It's like nice and nice. So this is what the photo albums were. So I have like, there's 7, yeah, I have 7 of these albums that I'm going to probably dismantle. Here's the other 3. So I just wanted to show my sister these before I went and took them apart and she got all upset with me. Like, so I kind of wanted to prove, like, they're not really in great condition. Yep. So this one is my parents before they had me. And then also, and I think I put this one together too. And so I kind of put this one in chronological order. This might be a good candidate for like a pocketed divider book where there was just, are these probably like 4x4 squares? So like the square photo is back. Hold on. So I might actually have page protectors that would be perfect for this. I might do that. Because these aren't even, so I'm kind of having the opposite deal with these. There's not a lot of glue on here, which is good because it's not really destroying the pictures. But also, like, when you turn the page, it's not holding the pictures in place either. So that's not ideal. There's me as a baby. I was a tiny baby. And yet I was born in, I lived in a trailer. My dad was in the Army. And So I say, I'm straight out the trailer. For real, I'm not even kidding. Yep. It's true. So this one, I think I put this together first of all, but I think I'm also going to be the one to take it apart. There's that. Just want to kind of show my sister what's going on here. This is another one with her in it, and it looks like when she was a baby, when we lived back in Calais, Maine. And my parents took pictures of weird things. Like here's a hotel room, I think. That looks like a hotel room. Maybe that was their honeymoon. They went camping though. I don't know. There's another Easter. Oh, that's so funny. So, yeah, some of these are my sister, and I'm going to guess that she wants copies, and so some of these I know that I've scanned. What I ought to do is work on a huge scrapbook for her, but maybe I'll do that, Jenny. Maybe. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of work. Oh, there I'm on the school bus. Oh. I remember riding on that bus. Okay, and then, like, these are one, and more that I'm kind of like, I don't really want to take them out of these magnetic albums because my grandpa put these in here, so I must feel like his DNA is in there. But he used to carve ducks, and so he did the whole little procession of, like, this is what you do, and then this is what you do, and it starts looking like a duck, you know? Hold on. So he kind of, like, kept this whole progression of, and somewhere I've got the whole book where he's got, like, all of his ducks that he carved, the decoy ducks. Okay, here's the last one. So this one looks like mostly me. So I think of the 7 books, like, there's 2 or 3 that are just me, and then the rest of them are the both of us. Yeah, this is when I was a baby. Oh, I was so adorable. Everybody knows it. Okay. So that's that. So I am going to take these apart, but that's what they look like before I did. So I guess if you are wondering whether you should take old albums apart, maybe do like I just did right here and like show them on film how they looked. So if anybody gets super upset with you, you can say, well, that's what it looked like before. Oh, and the last thing was this is this copy of a letter that my uncle wrote to me about whether I should go to law school or not. And he, it's 13 pages on legal paper. Legal, you know, like, it was, like, long. He just, like, kept going. So, yeah, we've got a lot of lawyers in the family. And I'm not blood related to this uncle, but I just think we have an affinity. Maybe we seek out partners who, so my aunt married him, but maybe she was the daughter of my grandma Grace who never stopped talking, but we just kind of maybe seek out people who are also verbose. Like I'm always on my husband, like, you've told me that, I know, like, because he likes to talk a lot too. Yeah, we all do. We like to talk a lot. It's true. Oh, there's a funny little thing about my cousin, who's also a lawyer, by the way, now. It says, Amy is 10 and struggling with some weird 10-year-old social garbage at school. Blah, 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 blah. That's very funny. Okay, that's all. Is that enough? I think that's plenty. Okay. Thanks for watching. And, so if you want to start, I guess my parting advice is, if you want to do some family history or heritage scrapbooking, just do it. Just take some photos and start there. And then maybe what will end up happening is you'll find out, oh, I love doing this, or maybe you find out, oh, this isn't my thing. And then my other advice is boxes are a great way to store old photos. They really are. I mean, and I guess what would be an improvement on my system is to get all consistent looking boxes and to have them labeled and put in chronological order or in some kind of family order. And I think that's probably a great next step for me. But I don't think I have to put scrapbooking my family history on hold until I do it. Yep, there's my long-winded answer to that question. Okay. I'm just going to blame her. Yeah, she gave all of us the gift of gab. And she probably inherited it herself. She was Irish, and the Irish people, they like to talk. And that's not an Irish accent. I know. I'm not good at accents. Okay. That is all, I think. Yes, it is. Thanks for watching. I am Katie Scott. You can find me here on YouTube, or I have a blog called Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking. I'm not there often. I should probably remedy that. And I'm also over at Get It Scrapped. And yeah, that's all. Okay, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Okay, so one more thing real quick. On the pocket pages and ancestor photos, this is what I do sometimes with some of my photos. Good God. So the Post-it note kind of says what they are or where they're from. And then the photos do not take up all of the space in the pocket, which is totally fine with me. And because the other thing I like about this system is you can see the backs of the photos. And I like to see that. The only maybe improvement I would have on this is maybe just put a piece of cardstock between each set. So maybe you could just take notes on that, or just have it be less visually cluttered. So for example, hold on. Oh, piece of cardstock. I have them, I just don't have a plain one. Here's a green one. This will, remember this stuff? Okay. But see, if you just had one, like a piece in between, like just 3-hole punch this and put it in between, then you would have something to look at the backs of things, and then you wouldn't be fighting with the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there you go on that. And you can get page protectors in like a wide variety of shapes and sizes. Yeah. So that's one option. I think it's a good one. I do. The reason I would maybe keep some things in boxes and some of these this way is I would put them in the page protectors after I've scanned them. So like, I guess after I know what they are, then I would put them in page protectors. But while I still want all that context, I would just leave them in the boxes with the rest of the stuff. So this stuff could all get way more labeled, but that's for another day. And then the other thing I just wanted to show you, so this is one of many family history scrapbooks that I have. I think this is one of the more, these are some of my more recent layouts. So I just want to show you, like, I don't let the fact that I'm not completely organized stop me from scrapbooking my family history. So I do a lot. I get a lot done, and it's a lot of fun. There's all the presidents that I'm related to. And I'm even related to, yeah, Sarah Palin. But Eleanor Roosevelt, that's cool. And then all the pop stars that I'm related to. And Lizzie Borden, my second cousin. Yes, that's true. My Nana Ruby. And so I've got, these are just the more recent ones that I've done. But I've got another book where the family, different sides of the family are kind of separated out a little bit better. This is one that I did recently. This is kind of the idea that I had for those photos that I'm going to take out and maybe scrapbook the original. So on this one, it looks like I've totally, put all kinds of stickers on top of an old photo. And I haven't. What I did was I just made a little pocket, and so I still have the whole photo intact. And the cool part is, so I sewed this little page protector thing onto my page. So see this, like, it goes like this. And then you can even like take it out of the sleeve and then turn this over and see all of the writing on the back of it. Oh yeah, that's totally cool. Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. I still am. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be like, YouTube is gonna be like, you can't make videos this long. And then that's my nephew. Isn't that awesome? That was a Facebook. I snagged that photo off Facebook, and then I got obsessed with John Muir for a little bit. I don't think I'm related to him, but this is what I kind of want to do more of. So this is the scrapbook page on this side, and then on this side, I wrote on the computer. I just like wrote a whole page of text, and then I decorated it up a little, and on this side, I did that whole little thing, you know, that I just told you about. Like, look at this. I could cut a little slit in the page protector, but I'm not going to. But my family, I think they're going to know, like, some of these you should take out. So this kind of folds back, so if you wanted to read the whole thing, you could just kind of slide it out of the page protector and then read the whole entire thing. Yeah. John Muir said, "The mountains are calling and I must go." And that's how I feel about every year when I get snow skiing fever. And I'm like, we can't not go. We get all super, gotta go, gotta go. There's like a weird bit of adhesive on the front of that. I'm not sure why. There's my sister. And me. Yeah, so, all right. Now I'm done. Okay, bye-bye.